How's it going, guys? Chris from Terrestrial Imaging, and in this video we're going to be going over the all-new Talon drop system for the Matrice 30 series drones. In this video we're going to be going over the drop system itself, how to install it on the drone, and then once installed we're going to show you guys how to use it using the PSDK widget buttons found on your RC Plus controller. All right, so once you get your drop system, we're just going to open it up. And then inside, you're going to have a couple different items. We're going to have a bag full of accessories that we're going to go over individually as we actually put that drop system on the drone. You're going to have the drop system itself, and then we're going to have a piece of paper with instructions and all of the different items that you're going to find in the box. So with everything out of the packaging, let's go ahead, take the drop system out, separate the little accessories in the bag, and go ahead and install the drop system onto our drone. So I've taken all the items out of the bags, and on the table here we have the drop system itself. We have 3 stick-on anchor points to lock the cable into position, so that way the cable does not come loose. We also have a bunch of different metal rings here that you can use to fasten your items to the drop system. We then have a bag of screws and washers as well as Loctite here, and we recommend using this Loctite on the screws to prevent those screws from backing out after you've installed the drop system. So you will also need a Phillips screwdriver for this installation. So in the next step, what we're going to do is we're going to unscrew some stuff from the bottom of the drone so that way we can screw on our drop system. So let's get to it. So for this installation, we highly recommend putting some foam or something soft underneath the drone, as we're going to be flipping it over and we don't want to damage any of the top faces of our drone. So what we're going to be removing here is this bottom accessory port cover, and there's going to be 4 screws on either corner of this. You're going to need a Phillips screwdriver to remove these screws. I also recommend that you guys have a bag or something else to store these screws and that accessory port cover in, so as you take them off, you're not going to lose them. This also means that down the line, should you ever need to take the drop system back off and replace it back with that port cover, everything will be nice and neatly in one place. So I'm going to go ahead and take off these 4 screws right now, and we'll continue once I have that plate removed. All right, so on the bottom of the drop system, there's a deep channel here, and that deep channel is going to sit over this USB-C male connector right here. So on the bottom here, you're going to take that drop system and drop the channel over that USB-C connector. I'm just going to move the cable out of the way, and if I tilt this up, you guys will be able to see how this is oriented. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to take some Loctite. So rather than opening the one that comes with the pack, I already have some Loctite open here. I'm going to take that Loctite and I'm going to put it on one of my screws that have already pre-pushed through the washer. So I have the screw with the washer here. I'm just going to put a little bit of Loctite on, and then I'm just going to go ahead and push this into one of the 4 holes on each corner. Once that's pushed in, you'll just go ahead, screw it in, and don't screw it in too tight because we want to make sure that we put in the next corner and screw those in evenly, and then put in the other opposite corners and screw those in as well. So I'm going to screw in all 4 of those right now, and you guys will do the same, and once done, we'll move on to the next step. So with our drop system now screwed on, we're going to take our power cable and we're going to unplug the top port that's on the right side of the drone. Looking at our plug here, there is a channel with 2 slits and a channel with 1, and we want to make sure that that lines up with the inside port on the drone. So I'm going to push this into position, And now with this on, be mindful of the cable length and where it lands on the side of the drone. You're now going to take your push-on anchor points here, these three, and then you're going to line them up into the positions on the drone, so that way when you're not using the drop system, you can snap the cable to these points and the cable is not going to go anywhere and it's going to be nice and secured. So I went ahead and I turned my drone on, and keep in mind I do not have the clips on here, so you guys will have these clips on, which will keep that wire nice and tight to the side of the drone. Now, you'll know your drop system is good to go and connected to your drone when you see the solid green light at the back of the drop system. There's also going to be a button on the back of the drop system that when you press it, it will open the drop system, thus releasing the object, and that light will no longer be visible. If I click that button again, so let me find that back here, it's now going to turn that light back onto green, letting us know that the drop system is closed and thus armed, ready to drop whatever is being held by it. So let's take a look at the controller now and see how to use the drop system from the controller view. All right guys, so just one thing I want to call out, that when plugging anything into the top ports on the drone here or unplugging them, make sure you do so only when the drone is powered off. The port here is not designed to be hot swappable, and unplugging something or plugging something in while the drone is on could actually damage the port and lead to complications down the line, and we want to make sure that that does not happen. So we want to call out again, make sure that something is being unplugged and plugged in only when the drone is powered off. All right, so on our main screen here, we're just gonna go ahead and enter the camera view. And once in the camera view, we can see the PSDK button over here on the right, and we're gonna click that. Now with that PSDK button on, it's gonna open up a DroMight Talon widget window, and from here there's gonna be three buttons. The topmost button is gonna give us the status of the device, as well as the current firmware and the serial number. The second button down from the top is going to be to unlock and lock the drop system. And the third button is going to be to open and close the drop system. So on the third button here, notice how I can't open or close the drop system, and that's because the system is locked. So first I'll need to unlock the system, which is going to change the icon color to blue, and then we can go ahead and open the drop system. The status of the drop system is now open and unlocked, and if we were to close that drop system again, by closing it, it will then change the status to closed and lock the drop system, so that way we can't accidentally open it again. So we have to make sure that we're unlocking the drop system before using it. All right, so now we know how to open and close the drop system from the back of the drone and from the controller, but now we have to actually load something to drop it. So we're going to start by clicking the button at the back of the drop system to open the motor. So I'll click the button, and down below the motor is now changed the angle of the servo, and it's now going to be facing down. I'm then going to take here, I just have a little red loop on a ring, and I'm going to be putting this ring over the arm here on our drop system. So with our ring in place, I'm just going to push the button at the back of the drop system, and now this is nice and fastened. Now again, to drop that in flight, we're going to take our controller, we're going to unlock the drop system, and then we're going to release our item using the opening button. And now you know how to use your DroMight Talon drop system for the Matrice 30 series. All right, so that concludes our video on the DroMight Talon drop system for the Matrice 30 series drone. And if you guys are also looking for a drop system for your M300 or M350, there's also a DroMight Talon drop system for those drones as well. So if you guys have any comments or questions, be sure to leave those down below and we'll answer those as soon as we can. Or reach out to us at 1-800-359-0530 or find us online at terrestrialimaging.com. Thanks for watching.